Hi, welcome back to the second episode of Checkpoint's HTTPS inspection enhancements in the new R82 software release. In the first episode, we talked about the place of HTTPS inspection in the overall security of the organization, the challenges and the ways Checkpoint's new features options help to meet those challenges. We started with configuring and turning on HTTPS traffic inspection. In today's episode, we will go ahead with setting the HTTPS inspection related policies. Roy, why do we need policies for HTTPS inspection?
The security policies govern our system security features and help us to optimize their use. Let's see how it looks in our system. After turning on HTTPS inspection, we will go to the Security Policies tab on the top left.
The rule you see on the screen was created for preventing the use of gambling applications. Any such attempt would be dropped, and this rule, as any other rule in the security admins will set to kickstart the HTTPS inspection to start working, as per the settings and policies we have put in place. The Policy tab has two separate rules that can be configured for the inbound and outbound traffic. This is a good place to tie up this action to what we did in the first episode. As we mentioned there, while the outbound certificate is critical for configuring HTTPS inspection, the inbound certificate is not present at this part of this configuration, and applying any restrictions on incoming traffic is done here at the policy level, where we can specify any certificates needed for allowing outsiders access any chosen resources within our organization. For both policies, we can create rules, configure the name, source, destination services, category action, track, what blade it will be relevant to, relevant firewall this rule applies to, and which certificate we want to use for inbound and outbound traffic. Keep in mind that we cannot use the outbound certificate for inbound traffic and vice versa. We can add new certificates by clicking the Add button, and we can manage the certificates. Here, we can add new certificates or import the existing one. This process applies to both inbound and outbound rule setting. So our work is done unless we want to set some specific settings for individual firewalls. To do that, we need to go to the Advanced Settings on the bottom left corner, and a new window will be opened. These settings are global settings for all firewalls that have HTTPS inspection blade enabled in your organization. So to override the global settings on specific firewalls, we can configure other settings through this option on any specific firewall object. First is the fail mode option. In this section, we will configure the server and client-side options in case of a communication failure to fail open or fail close. We will explain those two later. Next is categorization mode. Categorizing is an action that happens in the background of tagging approved connections for future reference, which saves time and resources in dealing with similar requests. So, in this section, we decide whether the firewall will pass any requests while categorizing is being set, or to hold and block the request until categorization is complete. Let's continue to server validation. This option determines how the firewall will deal with traffic from servers with untrusted certificates, revoked server certificate, or expired server certificates. It will drop or pass any answering those criteria. Validation error will set the tracking mode of any validation errors and create alerts or logs about them, so these instances can be analyzed for any malicious intent by security admins. In the certificate blocking section, we can add specific certificates that we want to block. We are also able to edit the current certificates or delete them. This brings us to bypass allow lists, where we can allow the firewall to pass trusted traffic through without inspecting, either from known services, a list which is dynamically updated, or from certificate pinned applications. These are sites and applications using their own proprietary certificate pre-approved by Checkpoint. All this to improve and optimize traffic flow and performance. The last option is Other. In this section, we choose what type of response the firewall would take in case of missing certificates or partially completed certificate chains. In this section, we will determine the traffic of suspicious activity of SSL connections. Another important option here, which we will meet later in the series, is what to do in case of traffic peaks that don't necessarily have anything to do with the HTTPS inspection, and the bypass underload option is activated. This brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for watching it. In the next episode, we will go back to the HTTPS settings window and talk about the other two important enhancements Check Point is introducing to help meet HTTPS inspections challenges, the fail close and bypass underload features. So stay tuned and see you soon.